magnitude should be seriously considered. An invitation to come into the very presence of the Creator God without fear of being smited. To come as you are. To give something that is of worth. That is your worship. To be a child in God's presence. Why should we come? Because we've been invited and because we can. When do we accept this invitation? We were talking earlier about how precious time is. And so when we come to God, and under what circumstances? When we are weary and burdened, is what Jesus says here. When you need to rest. When you've come to the end of your tether and you've got nothing else to give. When you're fed up and the world is against you. All the knowledge and wisdom in the world comes to naught if you don't come to the one who can refresh and restore. All the knowledge of the Old Testament can't help if you don't accept this invitation to come. Isaiah chapter 40 highlights this. Don't you know, haven't you heard? The eternal, the everlasting God, the creator of the whole world, never gets tired or weary. His wisdom is beyond understanding. God strengthens the weary and gives vitality to those worn down by age and care. Young people will get tired. Strapping young men will stumble and fall. But those who trust in the Eternal One will regain their strength. They will soar on wings as eagles. They will run, never winded, never weary. They will walk, never tired, never faint. We hear all the time about me time, looking forward to perhaps going on holidays to recharge the batteries. Why? Because we give ourselves permission to stop. We anticipate slowing down to appreciate again those important things in life. And I suggest that many of us aren't very good at staying when Jesus invites us to come to him. What then? When we come to Jesus, do we get a spiritual shot in the arm and then go out again? Psalm 23 suggests that as the Good Shepherd, God invites us to rest, to abide, just to be, to enjoy his company. The word company is from two Latin words, come to share, and panis, which means bread. Come to share bread. Enjoy God's company, and indeed one another's, not eating on the go. Communion this morning, the act of sharing bread, was deliberately slow and reflective, so that we could take time with Jesus in our inner beings. Coming to Jesus can be something we do immediately. Remaining in his presence and living there is something totally different. But you know, that's where the relationship is best formed. In the slow. Why do we enjoy the company, the presence of our favourite person? Because we love being with them. We enjoy their presence. We have a relationship with them. Those times perhaps when we just sit. Maybe even unspoken times, sat at home together. Perhaps on a long journey when nothing is said. That companionable moment. Perhaps even that time when you hold the hand of somebody in silence at the hospital bed. Words don't often need to be said. But the presence of somebody needs to be felt. And that's the deepness of the come that Jesus invites us to here. That simple invitation to spend time with someone who deeply cares about you. Just you, right here, right now. In this moment, we begin to be present with ourselves and our God. That being, that remaining, that sense of breathing deeply and centering ourselves again does wonders for the soul. Because we're human beings, designed to come to Jesus. So be. It's okay. It's primarily what you're designed for, to be with Jesus. Why do we come to Jesus? Because there's an open invitation from the Creator God who knows you and who wants to be present in this moment with you and would love you to remain in his presence. When do we come to Jesus? Whenever you want to. Anytime, any place, anywhere, however you feel, or however close to God you think you are or you think you aren't. Come as someone who is happy and you've got everything worked out in life. Come if life is just plodding along. But here, Jesus invites you to come, especially when you're low or depressed and sad and can't go on. In those desperate times, when we're burned out, where we don't know where to go, when we are at the end of that road and we don't know what else to do. Don't go. Come. God is for you. God doesn't operate from a points or merit system where if you know stuff, he likes you more. Or if you do stuff, that pleases him. Or if you store up points, you get to be on God's side. That's not good news. The good news is that in your moments of greatest despair, failure or sin or weakness or loss or frustration or inability or helplessness or wandering or faltering, God meets you there. He meets you in that place when you come, in that moment, and he announces that he is on your side. So he invites you to come. And I guess some of us are thinking, yeah, but what about What about my illness? What about my debt issues? What about my bitterness or my loneliness or my OCD or my jealousy or my exhaustion or my sleeplessness or my fears? They all matter so much to God. They all matter so much to the God who loves you. So come, just as you are. Warts and all, tell him about it. Trust him with these things. If none of the above apply and you just want to come, if you don't know Jesus but we'd like you to perhaps dip your toe in the water, then come. If you're in a good place in the world's all as it should be, great, come. Please come. And don't just come, but why not stay? Why not rest a while? Come and rest. Come and rest and become unburdened. Please don't leave here today in the same condition as you came. Come. Come closer. Receive the good things that a loving God has for you. Next week we'll be looking more about the effect that coming to Jesus has. How we might learn from him as we come to him. But for now, let's focus our minds on Jesus. In the silence, let us come. As we draw our service to a close, you might want to remain seated, enjoying that moment with Jesus. And that's fine. You might want to talk to him in the quietness of your heart and pour out what you need to confide to him. If you want to pray with someone, find someone you trust and let them hear what you have to say. There's a loving Father God who wants to spend good company with you. And sometimes that company is found in the presence of another follower of Jesus. If you don't know Jesus, then come. He already knows you anyway.